This is my proposal on how we can improve Facebook. So a little overview on Facebook, they're the #1 social media site in the world with about 2.2 billion users. And in 2017, they generated about $40 billion in revenue. And they also have future aspirations, particularly in the virtual reality department, their video streaming services, and so on. They recently purchased Oculus VR, which is one of the best virtual reality companies in the world, and they hope with that acquisition that they can release a product in VR and hopefully go into that sector of the world. So the problem we have currently with Facebook right now is that the teenage demographic, which was one of the driving forces that helped them rise to the top social media site, is now the lowest group among other users. In 2014, 90% of teens were using Facebook, and it is projected that by 2020, that number will go down to 66%. And as we can see here, 2% of teenage women and 1% of teenage men are using Facebook as of January 2018. And this is pretty concerning, considering that they were the majority of the users that made up the company. So we believe this is happening because Instagram and Snapchat are taking over. Facebook has now been populated with those teens' parents, their relatives, other older members. And because of that, they don't think it's cool enough to go on. So they resort to going to these social media sites, both photography related, because these are most likely they won't have any adults on either of these, and most of their friends, their friend groups are going to be on these sites. So our solution is to expand their video streaming service, Watch. And Watch is a streaming service that displays shows, videos, live streams, and they also have a popular show called Ball in the Family, and that one had about 15 million viewers the first day that it came out, and they average about 2 million views per episode after that, and that has a lot of teens interest because a lot of them are following that Ball family, the basketball players, and that's just like one step. That's one set of positivity that can come out from that. Our solution would be to add more popular shows among teens, sort of like to emulate Netflix's success, and start streaming sports, basketball and football specifically, because those are the top two most favorite sports by teens. So as we can see here, the teen use of video streaming services, Netflix is at #1, 38%, at a distant second to YouTube, and cable TV is at 23%. What's significant about these numbers is not only that Netflix dominates it, is that the top two, Netflix and YouTube, are video streaming services, and cable TV is at third. So we could be seeing a transition to a video streaming future, whereas cable TV could eventually die out. So show expansion, popular shows among Netflix include Friends, Riverdale, Grey's Anatomy, Breaking Bad, and Gossip Girl. Those shows garner a lot of teen popularity over the years, and they continue to still get a lot of viewers from that. And some may wonder why, even though if Facebook added it, why it'd be better than Netflix. And the reason for that is Netflix, you have to pay a subscription fee. Facebook, you don't have to pay any fee at all. You can just go online and just stream the show, and it's that simple. Because Facebook generates a lot of revenue from advertisements. Of their 40 billion they earned last year, about 38 billion was from advertisements alone. So that's how they would make their money as regards to subscription fees. So in the expansion of sports, we can see in the last 2 years, teenagers have been watching football and basketball the most, and which is important because that's how Facebook should know which sports they should stream. And as we can see here, the NBA is the most followed in terms of social media. So like their most famous players, LeBron James, has more followers than anyone in like the NFL. The NBA Twitter page has more followers than MLB, NFL, NHL, and so on. And this is important because 73% of teens use Facebook and 79% use Instagram. So all those teenagers are being exposed to all those social media clicks. They're being exposed to all these people, and they like watching that exposure of those athletes. They like looking at the life outside of basketball, life in basketball, in football, outside of football, their regular lives, and that's what will gain their attention. That's what will keep them, because while they're streaming it, they're also interested in all those little things. So how we propose to expand sports, we should start with the NCAA. They're amateur athletes. Facebook already is, in 2017 they demonstrated this by streaming about 15 college football games and about 47 college basketball games. We would want to expand that to all conferences, Pac-12, Big 10, Big 12, SEC, ACC, all those conferences. We'd want to expand to all of them, and then eventually do the big nationally televised games on Facebook, on Watch, and then eventually the NCAA tournament, the March Madness, and then the national championship, the BCS football playoffs, national championship. And then with all those steps, we hope to proceed to the professional ranks like the NFL and the NBA. And once we get there, we think the streaming of sports could really be changed forever, and it would start with Watch. So our budget, Facebook's net income would be $16 billion after taxes, because they have a gross profit of $35 billion. After all their expenses, they get about 15, or their operating expenses are 15 billion, and then that'd be 20, and then after taxes it'll be 16. And they include some of the NCAA games that I mentioned before, the 47 basketball, 15 football. So that was how much they spent earlier for that. Netflix, their operating expenses is about 3.1 billion, very affordable in terms of Facebook. And also, one of the positive notes, Facebook doesn't need to use all their funding that Netflix used. They only need the top shows for teens. They don't need anything else other than that. So that's a very good number for Facebook. Just the only problem would potentially be in the future for the NBA and NFL, MLB, NHL licensing, but that's long down the road. We're taking it step by step, and that will eventually come there. So this is our timeline, a general timeline. In June 2018, we hope to receive the license after sending it out for the popular shows, and then launch them in the summer. In 2019 of next year, we hope to obtain the licenses for college football and basketball from all conferences, not just from the little ones, the mid-majors, but we want all of them, and eventually go to the tournaments, the national championship games, and so on. And then 2019, we hope that's our first airing of college football for the next season. In November 2019, we hope to air the first college basketball for that season. Our ultimate goal, as I said earlier, is to go to the professional ranks. So we're projecting that in September 2020, the first NFL airing, and then October 2020, the first NBA airing. And this could really change the way we watch sports. Because everyone's on their phone, on their tablets, they could bring it on the go. Instead of just watching it on TV, they can watch anywhere. So some potential concerns, like why watch over Netflix? As I said before, no subscription fees. You're just on it anyway. It's easy to use. Just log on, just search up what you want to watch. The easeability of Netflix on Facebook, and plus you could chat with your friends while you're watching, which is another feature that Watch has. And then there's some concerns over how long it will take. It's a process, but we need to attack every step and be detail oriented, because if you go fast and skip a step, we won't do it right, and all of a sudden it's just a whole mess. So if you just focus one move at a time, it'll be okay, and eventually we'll get to the goal we really want. And then this will revolutionize the way we stream all content in terms of TV shows, sporting events, whatever, even no matter what Facebook wants to expand on. This could really be the start of a new way we watch content, and maybe the end of cable TV. And that's my presentation.